really the decade about getting onto the path that you want to be on. And, one of the things that we talked about a lot for the 20s and the 30s was about saving for the house. And you know what? Especially when you talk about the Toronto area, not everyone wants to own a home, especially with as expensive as real estate has gotten. But it's one of the challenges that people in that age range and especially in that location are going to face is that if they don't want to own a home, they need a place to live. And I'll be the first to tell you, renting, perfectly acceptable alternative to owning. Absolutely acceptable. The problem is, and I'll say this, because renting is cheaper than owning. It is absolutely cheaper 100% of the time. But the advantage of the owner spending more on where they live is that they're also building up equity. They're building up an asset. They're forced to do it. And so if you're going to rent, and I recognize that it's a heck of a lot cheaper, I might have to put more of my cash flow toward building up net worth in other ways because I still need that net worth. And, owning your home is not necessarily a house. It can own a condo. It can be owning a semi-detached, a townhome. It doesn't have to be a house, but ownership, or I shouldn't even say ownership, having some place to live is going to be important forever. So if we're going to save money by renting, we're going to miss out on that equity component, and we've got to compensate for it somehow. And that means we might be forced to save a little bit more than other people. So there are many routes to get where we need to be. And I think the 20s and the 30s, while we gave some general guidelines, and, and I said the 20-year-olds stay home a little longer if you can, young couples.
Don't say that too loud, Mike.
Well, not forever, not until you're 30, but I mean, you don't have to get out of the house at 21. But, save as much as you can. And when you're a new couple, try to live on half the income, live on one income and save the other. We talked about all those things. But the 20s and 30s are really about identifying the path that you want to be on. So, we gave the general guidelines that once you hit the 30s, do the 50-30-20 rule. So, yeah, there is no one-size-fits-all solution for everybody. But, hopefully over your 20s and 30s, you start to say, you know what, this is a lifestyle that makes sense to me, and I'm going to try to start accumulating some money so that I can afford this lifestyle going forward. So what we were talking about before were just sort of general guidelines.